Good afternoon and good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and Coffee Stream episode 547, and it's Canadian Wednesday. And I am joined by Functional. Hello, Functional.
What is up?
It's actually not too stupid hot today, I think. Well, at least where I am.
Oh, it's been raining all morning here.
Yeah. It's partially
Why I know that and why I was awake so early, I don't even know. My brain's still not even functioning.
well, partly why my kids are so batshit is because it's been raining, so I couldn't take them outside like I was planning on.
You gotta get the bird off some of that boy energy.
Yeah. Yeah, I was planning on having them outside for like an hour this morning, but nope, it's been raining pretty much steadily. So, and apparently the Minister for Emergency and Preparedness is in my city today, having a giant circle jerk with Bardish Chagger and the Dean of the University of Waterloo, and I tried to see what he was supposed to be making an announcement, and I tried to see what it was about, and I couldn't get past the introductions and the just giant circle jerk that it was. It was basically a bunch of liberals kissing each other's asses. Um, and I'm like, okay, if you guys aren't going to get to the announcement, I'm just going to leave.
Like Justin Trudeau, so dreamy for like half an hour.
Yeah. And then they had an indigenous elder come and talk about the energy of the planet and grandmother moon and father sun, and I have no idea where that fit in with the emergency preparedness minister, but
yeah, who knows?
But hey, as long as we're virtue signaling, we're good, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're in breach of Canadian laws while you're in Parliament and lying outright on the floor of Parliament.
Oh yeah, no,
Doesn't
that's
matter.
fine. That's totally fine. It's okay that you've prorogued Parliament for the summer right in the middle of like a really big RCMP probe into your meddling with the RCMP investigation of Nova Scotia, the shooting in Nova Scotia. Like, that's fine. It's, everyone will forget about that over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we have NATO telling us that we're not giving them enough money.
Of course, that's what entitled dickheads always do.
Yeah.
Cats, can you settle
Apparently,
down?
there is this whole commitment that everybody in NATO needs to be pledge or giving 2% of their GDP to NATO.
Yeah, fuck that.
And we're apparently um, falling short of that and increasingly falling short of that. And NATO is very upset with us.
I wish I could care a rat's ass about what NATO thinks.
Right.
Or says.
We've got I'm just pulling up the story that I grabbed because the NATO secretary is actually calling us out. It's kind of annoying. It's just to have them be like, oh, we understand. We understand that healthcare and all of that is important, but you need to pony up, basically. We get that you have, important things at home that you need to care about, but the world is super dangerous right now and you need to be giving us our money.
Yeah, well, our world isn't on that level of danger, so go fuck yourself.
Right? Oh,
We're having issues with our own citizens being able to afford food, shelter, clothing, and transportation. I mean, what's that in compared to I don't know, Italy requiring the same. Like, so what? We
Right.
should prioritize them first? Go fuck yourself. Fuck you, NATO.
Yeah.
It used to serve a purpose. Now it's not. It's not. It's just another unelected bureaucratic body,
Right.
and that is now beholden is an agent of the World Economic Forum.
Well, this is why like when I read this, and it's Apple News is being a dick and not letting me pull it up, but um when you look at things like this, when you hear NATO going, you need to give us more money, like it really feels like that mafia don that comes to the
NATO
small
needs a
business.
20%.
Yeah,
You don't give us a 20%, it'd be a real shame.
yeah. It'd be a
Something
real
happened to
shame
your country.
it'd be a real shame if protection stopped for your country,
Yet those threats are moot to us in North America.
Right,
What have you ever done for us?
right.
In fact, I can remember two distinct massive events where we came to your fucking aid. No questions asked, Europe.
Yeah. Like, what
So
would
go fuck
happen if we
yourself.
said "fuck you, NATO"? Like,
Like
if North America,
I'm all for, I think what we did was righteous and good and just, and we should continue to be vigilant against large forces that would upend our ways of life. But
yeah,
I don't think we need to go and constantly be like, here's more money, here's more money. No, you got to stand on your own.
yeah,
I don't care if you're Italy or Germany or France or whatever. But you know what? Yeah, if Russia tries to invade there, sure, we'll help. We'll help. Or if there's a new power rising in the West, the Eye of Sauron is fixed on Rivendell, and by
yeah,
Rivendell I mean one of these countries.
right,
Sure, we'll come to your aid and we'll help you out because that's clear and present danger. China, the same story. If Australia or Taiwan is in grave danger of being taken over by one of these big mega forces, sure, but NATO doesn't serve that purpose anymore. It's just a
yeah.
way to funnel money from wealthy countries to poorer countries, and even then, it doesn't go to the countries; it goes to these unelected
It
bureaucrats.
does. Yeah, it doesn't like any type of money that is supposed to help, you know,
Oh,
develop
when is
the
our
country.
coffee
It
ready?
doesn't help. It goes right to the unelected bureaucrat or like any of these charity organizations, like these big, like when there's a big disaster, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody gets together and donates money. I bet you about 90% of that money goes to some asshole bureaucrat.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Um,
uh, just to solidify your point, like look at UNICEF when they were exposed, like early '90s, as like 80% of donations are going to operating costs. Are you kidding me?
yeah, like that was the big scandal with all the AIDS charities.
Yeah, yeah.
Like everyone thought they were donating to actual AIDS patients and you know,
To help them acquire and maintain care. Yeah,
yeah,
because
and
if
then
it's
these
costly,
giant hospitals were scooping up all the money. Thank you, like
it's like the board needed a new fleet of Jaguars.
right.
Thanks. I think that should be criminal. I mean, there's, you know me, I'm not one for big government, but it does have its place in saying, okay, well, if you are a registered charity in the letter of the law, it should be that a minimum of like 80% of donations have to go toward the intended recipients or something like that. I'm just throwing numbers out there. I don't know. Better men than me can figure out the math of it all, but there should be that specific setting. And should you be found in violation of that, I don't care. Treat them as the highest you can outside of being a violent criminal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's fraud.
Elwin says, "Do not donate to CMH. I raised money for them, and they got a new staff cafeteria." Oh, fuck off!
Yeah, right.
Like, oh man, I have a story about this. So I was outside having a cigarette in my old apartment, and these
Excuse me.
door to door people came and were supposedly collecting for Sick Kids Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, never trust fucking door-to-door charity collection.
No, don't trust anyone that comes to you.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
and I know I've had some people who've done good work on charities who do the they don't go door to door, but they do the walking around the street and trying
Yeah.
to get people to sign up, and then it's more so not donations right there on the street, even though there are, but it's more so to get them on the mailing list and whatever. But I still don't even think that that's kind of on board. I think that there should be ways to do that you're not pursuing
Yeah.
individuals. You're putting a message out there and you're like, donate to us. We support people in Guyana who don't have enough food to eat. Okay, great. That seems noble if everything's above board, but don't come to me and say Nigerian princes need money.
Exactly. Like, so I was out and these people came up and they're, oh, we're soliciting donations from sick kids. And I said, well, I'm sorry, I don't have any money on me. Right. And these assholes go, well, you have money for cigarettes. Surely you can, donate to sick kids. And I looked at him and I'm like, listen, asshole, I was a patient at sick kids. Go get fucked.
Yeah.
like,
and how dare you have an indulgence when there are people who need your money? It's like,
right.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Who's like, you must have money for the sick children. You're smoking. Like, fuck you. I was one of those sick children. I almost died. If I could give to sick kids, I would. And I certainly wouldn't give it to you assholes. I'd go give it straight to them.
Yeah.
Fuck away from my apartment building.
I mean, all you have to do is just follow the money, and you'll realize that there's a lot of money to be made in all levels of fundraising like that, and it's
for sure.
It's just a shame that there's just so much of it that doesn't even go to charity, and can yet still be considered a charity and be tax exempt and all this other stuff. Because if any company were to get $1 million in revenue, they'd have to pay taxes on that, a lot of taxes on that. If a charity gets $1 million in revenue, well, it doesn't matter that 80, 60, 70% of that is going to operating costs.
Right.
That should not be tax exempt. I mean, I don't agree with, either you have income tax or you have sales tax.
Yeah.
Not both. That's my, philosophy. So for me to even say something like that, it's kind of like, well, that's on the premise of.
I wish it were that simple, functional. I really do.
Oh yeah. No, totally. I'm specifically speaking on the ideals of philosophy, not in actuality. In actuality, everything can burn. Fuck it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like to bring this back to NATO. It really feels like that mob boss. Oh, you want protection? Better pay up that GDP, that 2% of your GDP.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a shame if your country fell into some.
Especially if you look at the actual numbers, it's like, and Trump, again, to his credit, shown a big light on this on the public stage and showing, hey, look, we're paying like 6,000% of our tithing to NATO. I think we should cut that way the fuck back, because look at every other country is below their targets. And you know who some of the most egregious on the bottom of that list are?
China.
The people who are asking for the money.
Yeah.
China's not in NATO.
No, that's right.
It's the countries like France who are like, yeah, or Germany or Angela Merkel who are like, yeah, we need your money. It's like, well, why don't you lead by example? Give your 2% first, and then we'll consider it.
Pincalo says, I just found out Value Village is a Walmart company now.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Value Village steals all the good stuff for themselves first. Yep.
And as Elwin and I realized when we were trying to clean out the apartment, they don't do free pickup.
Nope.
You have to do all the work and drop it off to them. It's like, well, you know what? Then go fuck yourself.
So, as if as if this is not going to work. This fears of a COVID-19 summer surge prompt experts to call for a return to masking. How about no?
How about you read these fingers that I'm holding up? Like Pincalo brought up on the last Canadian Wednesday, 52 people were in hospital.
Yep.
52. I wonder what it is now. 30?
Something
20?
like that. Yeah, maybe.
6?
And
Like,
I bet you they're gonna say, you know, oh, everyone's been getting sick with colds and stuff lately. Yeah, because we've been fucking masked for 2 years.
Yeah, you
Our
haven't.
bodies are now going, oh shit, what is all this?
Well, it's not so much the masking. It's the over cleanliness,
Yeah.
the over disinfecting. You still need a little bit of that seasonal bacteria and the minor viral loads to keep your. It's like any sort of system. It needs constant upgrades. It needs to constantly be bombarded by all these foreign entities
Yeah.
to constantly keep its defenses up. It needs to keep refreshing its software and updating its software kind of thing. Yeah, I haven't seen any either, Pincalo, so it makes me think like the occupancy rate is
Right.
negligible, and even when how things are dying down. Obviously, Toronto, a lot of psychos here. Elwyn and I have been taking public transport a lot more.
Yeah.
To save a couple bucks here and there where we can, and on a nice day, it's kind of actually fun to take a bus, even though it kills my back. But we sit there and we notice that like maybe 30-40% of the people are still masking, even when they're walking down the street by themselves, and we just look at each other like these people are psychotic.
So I can tell by voices, right? Like, because you definitely you're muffled when you're behind a mask.
Yeah, it's kind of like hey BP,
Yeah.
versus hey BP, how you doing?
Here
You project.
in Waterloo, I am hearing much less muffled voices. Even like back in May, I started noticing when the first round of stuff started to lift, a lot of people down here were like, okay, goodbye. Like a lot of the university students were still doing it. I noticed when I went to the Apple store, there was one employee that had a mask on. Of course, it was the person who sounded like a man but was calling themselves Esther and was talking like this. I'm like, oh boy, okay. But for the most part, there's no masking. Like,
oh geez, I was mid-token. You killed me with that one because I started laughing.
Yeah, dental facilities and stuff are still requiring them. Like my oldest is going to be doing speech therapy this summer, and they're still for speech therapy are still requiring you to be masked.
Isn't that ironic?
You may get this though. The person's like, so in the session, I will be asking him to take his mask off, but there might still sometimes be a plexiglass barrier, and I'm like, then how's he supposed to see your face properly?
No, it makes no sense. It literally makes no sense. So you're gonna tell me that to go into an office where 1, 2, maybe even more people are gonna be digging around in my mouth, I need to be masked while I'm waiting in the waiting room?
Yes.
Whatever.
Yeah, you need to be masked where you're not gonna have people digging around in your mouth, and then when you are gonna have people digging around in your mouth, then you don't need a mask. It's fun. It makes perfect.
Now I understand why they wear masks while they're working around inside your mouth.
Yeah.
Sorry, coughing.
So
because when they're just quickly, when they're working on you, I don't want your particulate droplets, other things falling in my mouth. It makes sense. It's why the whole surgeons wear like at the beginning people were like defending masking. It's like, well, surgeons wear blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, they literally have you cut open. Do you know that the number one cause of death from any kind of surgical procedure is infection? That's why you're so dumb and ignorant to anything. Sorry, I'm going off.
Like, there's a reason you get antibiotics after surgery.
Yeah.
Just as a
just in case.
Of course, you get surgery, you get amoxicillin. Like, just
because they do their best to prevent any outside infection,
right.
But nothing is 100%. Exactly. And again, in fact, being one of the most leading causes to post operation complications, which can include death, is infection.
Yep.
Because we can't control. It's not Star Trek. We can't have a 100% sterilized room. Like, not yet anyway.
So this first line says, "It's time to bring back indoor mask wearing requirements," some health professionals say, amid potential, not even actual, potential COVID-19 case surges.
And the term health professionals, so analogous. It could mean anything. Well, somebody works in a nail parlor. They're taking good care of your nails. Like, that's part of good health. Well, and they're a professional. They do it for a living. So there you go. There's a health professional. Fuck you. It means nothing.
Yeah.
You want me to actually pay attention to what you have to say? Tell me what the leading experts on virology and immunology have to say.
Right.
Because they're telling you you're a fucking psycho.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm already getting worked up.
So this says, in fact, according to Alberta emergency physician Chuck Worcester, public health authorities across the country dropped the mandate prematurely. Hey, Chucky, get fucked.
You're Worcester, Chuck.
Oh my God. So, quote, "There wasn't any indication that it was safe to do that," Dr. Worcester said, pointing to the influx of COVID-19 patients he has seen in the emergency department has never really having stopped. Quote, "Masks should always be the first thing that we use and the last thing that we get rid of." Okay, then why did COVID-19 numbers spike so high after masks were implemented?
Because they work, don't you know? It would have been worse if they didn't. Yeah, okay. Show me proof of that. Because I'm looking at cases for Alberta right now. They're at 588,000, but that's cases.
Yeah.
And we've seen the at least I've seen the VAERS data from down south, and we're using the same techniques for determining cases. 60% outright fraudulent, outright false negatives, wrong reporting, and all that stuff, with another supposed 20% that are considered to be, again, misreported, but haven't been solidified as being misreported because they can't really tell coof from various forms of influenza or other respiratory diseases.
Well, because something like 20 to 30% of common cold viruses are coronavirus.
Yeah. And the test just tells you if you have a coronavirus.
Yeah.
And even then, it doesn't tell you, is that dead particulate coronavirus? Mm-hmm. Is it dormant? Is it from 6 seasons ago that your body fought off and it's just kind of sitting there?
Yeah.
Nowhere to go? The testing is far from perfect. And again, sure, that's VAERS data. We're talking Alberta, but I mean, again, we're using similar techniques and blah blah blah.
Oh, this even says America. It says, over the past month, countries such as the U.S., Israel, Portugal, France, and Italy have seen a rise in COVID-19 cases. And with the emergence of even more effective or infectious Omicron subvariants. Oh my god. Omicron was like a nothing burger when it came to fun.
Even if I believed that it was a thing and not just the newest scare tactic, it's they themselves purport that it's more infectious, less dangerous, less fatal.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I wish I had more than 2 fingers to show you. I wish I was General Grievous and had 8 to put up in your face. And exactly like Brandon Cross says, we need a t-shirt, big middle finger in the center, a circular background. Around the top of the circle it says, I'm not masking, so quit asking.
Yeah, I like
Fucking, I want that. I would want that shirt.
Yes,
I
agree. It says currently masks are required in Canada for air and train passengers, but in most settings they are no longer compulsory. Mandating them again in indoor public places is one way to immediately fend off more surges. Immediately.
In a violation of the Canadian Constitution, but you know, who cares?
As soon as the masks go on, COVID will go, oh shit!
Cheese it, it's the masks!
Yeah. Oh no, what will I do?
This, like, I don't, oh my god. This is why I don't understand why people just, like, fall for this shit all the time.
It's just one of the reasons why I'm not going, like, well, partially because we've spent a lot of money this year, but one of the reasons I'm not going to see my friend this summer is because COVID's done. I'm not wearing a mask to go on the train for 4 hours. Fuck that. Yeah. Not doing it.
And people, like, I've always, even before COOF was a thing, been a proponent of, if you're sick with you know, flu or what, cold, you know, common, and you need to go out, first of all, try to do your best to stay home. But if you need to go out, you need to go to Shoppers, you need to go to the doctor, whatever, sure, throw on a mask.
Yeah.
You are doing a benefit. But if you're not sick, there's no point.
No.
You're just psychotic.
Yeah, if you're sick, like, and you have to go out, you know, just...
It helps.
Sneeze into your elbow, you know, make sure you wash your hands, you know, just be courteous, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's a time where I believe in carrying around some hand antiseptic because, yeah, if I need to take a subway or a bus or whatever, I've got to go to the doctor. Hell, I need food. I need to go to the grocery store. You damn right I'm going to do my part to make sure that I'm not going to get you or the next person sick. I'm going to do my best. I'm not going to go full-blown psycho with it, but I'll, you know, maybe apply some hand sanitizer a little bit more diligently, just on the off chance that I touch something that might spread the germs, because that's just a common courtesy. Now, do I think government should come out and say, you must mask if you're sick? No,
absolutely.
No.
Absolutely not. Like when I used to do piano recitals, and my mother used to get bronchitis pretty much every year.
Oh.
And what she would do before we would go is she would make sure she took cough syrup so she wasn't like coughing and
to soothe the throat,
everything everywhere while she was out, like, because she had to take me. But you know, she was trying to mitigate the coughing and the sneezing and the
something they don't make anymore. Excuse me. And straight Sith Mail, if you're in the chat, let me know, because HB was talking about this the other day. That spray for the back of your throat.
Oh,
not Cepacol.
Not Cepacol, but
not the NyQuil spray.
I've heard of that.
It's old. I don't think that it's available anymore because it was far too strong and people were abusing the hell out of it.
I can imagine that.
Because it was, you know, strong alcohol content.
Alcohol and probably some dextromethorphan.
Come on, chat, help me out here. The antiseptic spray, something chloroseptic.
Chloroseptic, that's
chloroseptic spray. Selecta boy, you're here. You knew what I was talking about, but I already figured it out. Yeah, HB was talking about that the other day. I'm like, yeah, you know, I'd love to get my hands on a couple bottles of that because I have, I have mild emphysema, lifelong smoker. It's bound to happen.
They sell it at sex stores, says Owen. Well,
oh yeah, because yeah, if you take a mint or something, it apparently adds a little bit of a tick. But I wouldn't want medicated spray on my Johnson. That's a little
Nope.
bit.
I wouldn't want somebody to spray themselves and then, yeah.
Like
no.
if she's putting an ice cube in her mouth to cool things down a little bit, or you're taking a breath mint or something to make it feel a little bit, so the eucalyptus does a little bit of funny stuff. That's kind of cool. That's a little bit of fun little additions to the giggly
Yeah,
bits.
but
But
not like alcohol spray.
alcohol spray with medicated stuff. No, you don't need that on one of your most sensitive glands in your body.
No,
Thank you.
thank you.
Very careful about what you put down there.
Yeah.
They had to
Very.
stop selling one of these. I think it was Vaseline brand eucalyptus, not Vaselines, but like hand lotion type things that was Vaseline based, because young boys were going to the ER with burning penises.
You remember Tiger Bomb?
Yes.
That shit was awful.
Oh, but so great.
But
I
so
had
great.
people who were so retarded
So
who would put some on their finger and then shove it up, like up their nose, and I'm like, what is wrong? And then they'd like snort it. They'd be so it'd get like right up into their sinuses to really clean that shit out. I'm like, dude, just eat a tablespoon of horseradish.
right?
What the fuck is wrong with you? Go get some
remember-
wasabi, something. That is dangerous.
I accidentally grabbed Tiger Bomb instead of Chap Bomb once.
Oh
I put
no.
it, like right around my lip, and I was like
No.
6, and I was like,
Yeah, you can't put it on any sense. Like, I loved it for putting it on my shoulders
Yeah.
or joints, outside on the skin,
yeah,
very sparingly because it's powerful stuff. Once you get around close to your sensitive parts of your skin, where the glands are, lips, giggly bits, you know, even on the inside part of your joints, like your elbow pits, your armpits, in between your fingers, it can burn really badly.
my mom was on the phone when I did that. She's like, I have to go.
Oh no.
She's talking to her friend. She's like, I have to go. My daughter thought Tiger Bomb was chapstick because it was in that little container. It looked like a lip balm container. It's like, no.
Yeah, and of course it's always in Chinese with a picture of a tiger and maybe some vapors on the tiger's back, or a leaf or something to show it's cooling, you know. And you know, you don't speak Chinese. What the? Okay, I'm gonna try some of it. Oh no. That was
Apparently they sell Chloraseptic at Shoppers for $12.99.
apparently.
So this is a ridiculous story about interpartner violence. Do you remember? I think it was about 7 years ago now. There were 3 women who were murdered, and it turned out that all 3 women had the same ex-boyfriend.
Yes.
So this case went before like an inquest. And this article is talking about the results of that inquest. And at first I was like, okay, I can get behind this. But you'll see where in the article where it goes completely off the rails. So this says Ontario should declare interpartner violence an epidemic. Yeah, if you're going to include both fucking sexes in the Interpartner Violence Commission.
Which of course they won't.
Of course not.
Somebody on social media the other day was like, you know, in regards to Roe v. Wade, like, maybe we should blah, 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 and instead of using money for other things, like, maybe we should put it towards, you know, helping the people who need these abortions. And I'm like, yeah, 90% of public funding for these types of things already go to women.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with this. There is one male shelter in the largest city in all of Canada. The other 3 proposed ones were shut down by, drumroll please, feminists.
And most male shelters that, like, for men escaping domestic violence, all they have is the homeless shelter. There's no.
Well, there's one in Toronto. Yeah,
Right.
your only alternative is to use a catch-all shelter.
Yeah.
Which means they'll take anyone and everyone with and with good reason, with priority to people or who are children.
Yeah.
So children and their guardians, which sure makes sense. I can't get a bed because I'm a single person.
Right.
Makes sense that I would have to abdicate that to a child.
But how many fathers?
Oh yeah.
How many fathers have wives?
If there's a single mother and a single father, they'll take the single mother over the single father, regardless of circumstance.
For sure. And the
It's
shitty part is like every city has at least one shelter specifically for battered women and children escaping. Like
usually many.
But there's none of that for men. It's like, oh, you're in an abusive relationship. Either suck it up or go to the homeless shelter and try and get a bed.
If they even believe you.
If they even believe you. Yeah.
I have a friend who
halfway house run by John Howard. Yeah, where the criminals go.
Yeah. I have a friend who was physically abused. He was like 100 pounds soaking wet. His girlfriend was an easy 200, twice his size. And he liked them big and curvaceous, not judging. But she was physically, I saw her pick him up and throw him down the hallway of their apartment. And I just sat there like, oh my God, like what's going on? And he took the route of trying to go through family courts and all this and all, but not once did anyone believe a goddamn word. He was the one coming with bruises and scratches and reports of sprains and broken bones and torn ligaments and stuff. Yet she was the one at risk.
Yeah.
It's he has a penis, so grossly one-sided.
So this story starts out by saying the Ontario government should formally declare interpartner violence an epidemic, says an inquest jury after 3 weeks of testimony into a rural triple femicide. You heard that right. A triple femicide, because we need to classify that it's a woman that was murdered, and homicide is sexist because these people don't understand what Latin means, and they think that homicide means man killing man and not human killing human.
Yeah, this first sentence has evaporated any legitimacy this author might have had.
Yeah.
Already. Bravo, because like it's very rare, for me at least, that an article loses all legitimacy in the first line like that.
Right.
Usually takes a paragraph or two.
You're right, like literally the first sentence.
Listening, grabbing my coffee, be right back.
No worries. So this says nearly 7 years ago. The call is the first of the jury's 86 goddamn recommendations in response to the murders of Carol Couladon, Anastasia Kuzik, and Natalie Wormigan by a mutual ex-partner in September 22nd, 2015. The bulk of the action items are directed at the provincial government and includes calls for bolstering and consistent funding for interpartner violence or IPV resources, enhanced education in schools. Oh yeah, because teaching people not to beat each other up is totally the problem. We haven't been doing that forever, right? We haven't been teaching in schools that we need to use our words and not our hands, and that we need to be respectful of each other. No, that's something that has never been taught in schools ever until this jury's ideas. And continued training for law enforcement personnel and the exploration of justice system reforms. Are you going to insist on training for law enforcement personnel to recognize when men have been abused?
You're funny.
I know, right? Hi.
Eyeball mug. Buy one. We still have them.
Yep. Linktree.com or link.
Just go to the link tree.
Yeah, it's in the description. But yeah, this is just ridiculous. This whole bullshit of, like, especially I know a lot of people got upset because, Johnny Depp was a rich guy, and that was probably the mostly why he got heard. But to write an article like this, literally weeks after a man won a defamation lawsuit and proved that he was abused and not the abuser, is incredibly, incredibly in poor taste, I would think. It just doesn't look good.
I ultimately think people don't care. Look at what happened with Mattress Girl.
You're right.
People even refer to it as Mattress Girl, not that the name is escaping me anyway, but that young gentleman has had his life ruined over a false accusation while she was allowed to continue at school and graduate.
Yep.
Or actually, I think she didn't graduate. I think she flunked out.
No, she ended up dropping out, I think. And I think she's in porns now.
Is she?
I'm pretty sure. I can't remember her name.
Shocking.
So this says they also include specific proposed changes to the criminal code and to the Coroner's Act to recognize femicide as a distinct crime and manner of death. Get fucked.
So again, you want to violate constitutional rights for equal treatment under the law. Got it. So, oh my god. So maybe perhaps you should treat those people who actually do false reporting, maybe you should treat them equally and not give them lesser sentences because they're female.
Yeah. Brock Turner was the swimmer, Pincalo. That was a different guy. That was the...
Yeah, but I mean, even still, it was... I
can't remember if he was... If that was proven to be a consensual act that she later regretted, or if... Like, because there's so
It was, but the court of public opinion had far too much steam at that point, and he still got railroaded, he still got found liable, and he still received punishment, although they didn't lock him up for 10 years for being a rapist, which thank god. Yep. But I mean, his life is still ruined. Duke lacrosse guys, same thing.
Yep. Ellen says women are way more unstable than men. I'd be way more afraid of an angry woman. Yeah,
well, that's because and we see this a lot in our relationship, in that even when pushed and prodded, a man realizes, a good man, I should say, realizes the power that they have over a woman. Just physical, raw power.
Yeah.
And that you have to be in control. You cannot just lash out, especially physically, because even when they're like, trying to hit you, you could backhand them once and send them flying across the room and do some serious damage. Whereas they can try with all their might to, like, kick and scratch and whatever, and, you can still, shove them away and get out of the situation,
Yeah. Like my ex...
No. For the record, there has been no physical altercations between Elwyn and I. No. She just knows that she pushes my buttons, and, like, I'll be like, bang, zoom straight to the moon, but I'll hold back because, again, I know...
Yep.
Should I lash out and backhand her, knock on wood, that would never happen. But if it did, she would go flying.
Yeah. Same with
She could
Pinko's like 6 foot and 250 pounds. If he like one time, like that would I'd go flying.
Yeah. I mean, there's it's just that simple biological hate fact of men just innately physically stronger, and that means that we have to be a lot more in control, because if we do lash out, the penalties for assault are one thing. Assault and battery, like actually causing someone to, like, you backhand someone, they go flying, they hit their head on a seat or something or whatever, then that's battery right there. Whereas, a woman, that, I'm not saying that there are exceptions to the rules. Macho Ma'am would probably smoke my ass.
Yeah.
Because what is a woman?
But, like, women are so fucking crazy. Like, when they get angry, like, my ex-girlfriend was guiding me. I didn't have my cane. We got in an argument, and she was so angry at me that she left me in the middle of a busy street.
What the fuck?
Like, we were crossing the street, and she just pulled her arm away and left. And because she was guiding me, I didn't have my cane. Thank God my listening skills and my spatial awareness is good enough that I could keep the traffic, like the parallel traffic, on my, like, on the safe side, and like find my way to the curb.
Unbelievable.
But then when I got to the curb, I lost it. I started crying because I got freaked out. And she's like, "You're fine. You made it. What's your problem?"
No thanks to you. Scaring the fucking living shit out of you.
But it's like, none of these jurors are gonna see shit like that and think, "Oh, well, women are also committers of interpartner violence." No, it's only men. And we should all be saying femicide.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And of course, this feminist lawyer named Pamela Cross, a lawyer who provided testimony at the inquest, said she was moved by their call to reconcile or recognize this as an epidemic, and also highlighted the jury recommendation to explore adding, quote, femicide to the criminal code.
Fuck you.
Fuck you, Aaron Brockovich. That's all I have to say.
And the next sentence is telling, is a quote: "When women are killed because they're women, that's different than first-degree murder, second-degree murder, manslaughter, or general homicide," Miss Cross said. Yeah, how? How? Prove it. Back up your words. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't tell me how that's different. What if a woman kills another woman because she's a woman?
Right. Like, and nobody is looking at the insanely higher rate of domestic violence between lesbian couples. Like, nobody's talking about that.
Yeah, it's way out of proportion.
It is huge. Hugely out of proportion. The amount of, I hate to say it, the amount of butch lesbians that treat their girls like shit. It's bad.
Yeah.
But that's not being talked about here. It's only those evil penis bearers that are the problem, and we need to have femicide into the. Are you gonna? So if a lesbian kills her girlfriend, are you gonna declare that femicide?
Are we gonna have two separate categories now? That homicide is when a man dies, and femicide is when a woman dies.
Right.
It's so dumb. It's so. How did she ever pass the bar?
I don't know.
How do these people pass the bar, get their driver's license, pass their medical exams, blah 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 blah, when being as fucking retarded as they are? And I use that in the scientific term. Their brain has simply not fucking developed
No,
to the same level that the your quote unquote normal human being has.
because I'm sorry, if I was a law professor and I had a student say a woman dying is different than first degree murder, if a woman dies because she's a woman, it's different than first degree.
Yeah, first degree murder of a woman is different than first degree murder of a man. No, I don't buy
I'd
it.
be like, I'm sorry, you failed my class. But the year's not over. I don't care. You failed my class.
Don't women also proportionately commit most of more of the murder of children,
Yes.
like under 18,
Yes.
not just not including abortion? 'Cause,
Yes.
yeah.
Women, if you're looking at like deaths of children, um, there are a lot of the women serial killers tend to be the ones that kill their kids
Yeah.
or other kids.
And so, is there going to now be a difference for that psychopath to
Right,
when
right.
they kill a little girl versus a little boy? Is that what little Miss Pamela Cross here wants? Fucking dumb.
Munchausen by proxy. Yep. That Pincalo says, I would be very careful here. Blind Press has been on an investigative murder project. I have been like binge watching the FBI files, the Born to Kill episode, Born to Kill series. Like
The
all
only thing I've been really keeping up with lately has been the there's a lot of cases going through the courts right now, appeals and such, of very, very violent offenders. Rapists, murderers, serial murderers.
Did you see the parade at Nathan Phillips Square last weekend to abolish the pride in prisons?
No.
Or the pride of abolishing prison or whatever. Like everybody wants the prison. Like these people were all wanting like prisons to be abolished and whatever. And we're sitting there. Pincalo's like, Bernardo, Picton, Wetlaufer.
Yeah, right. You know what? Yeah, okay, we'll abolish them for a week. And we'll let every one of them out, but they live in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Have at it, Hoss. Yeah, didn't think so, you NIMBY bitch.
Like the fact that Homolka got out is disgusting enough.
Oh, it drives me.
The fact that she got fucking
wall.
paid for plastic surgery, a brand new identity, the fact that she's
taxpayer dollar.
Okay, there's just the one thing that I think that like if you have done what she did and you somehow get out of prison and then you decide and it comes out that you want to have kids, then I think that is like the only time the government should be allowed to step in and be like, nope, you don't get to have children. I'm sorry, fuck you. Like I can't believe she has kids.
I'm of the mind that violent child abusers, sexual child abusers, with the degree that was, I believe in full chemical castration.
Yep.
For both, all parties involved.
Yep.
Done. It doesn't matter if your present sentence is 10 or 5 or 2 months. You are no longer allowed to have the potential to spread seed.
Yep. Ellen, exactly. She goes, the fact that nobody has killed Homolka baffles me. Yep. Because where she is.
Because she had plastic surgery, she's under witness protection and all this other shit from the federal government or from the provincial government. Provincial? Federal? Probably both. Apparently, with all the plethora of evidence, they still needed her testimony to put Bernardo behind bars. And it's like bullshit.
I don't think they did. I think that was the prosecutor in charge of that case. Fucking, he didn't need her.
No, not at all.
He didn't need her. She didn't need. They didn't need to make a deal with her. They could have gotten both of them put away for life on the evidence.
Yeah, but instead he decided he needed her turning over on Bernardo, and it's like, wait, what? When I heard that, I was so confused. Obviously younger than I am now.
I remember I was
So
only about
confused.
5 or 6 when that case was being tried. And
Mm,
I remember the rage when the prosecutor made that deal with her. Like,
yeah.
the public rage.
Oh yeah.
I remember that to this day. The outrage of the public was that the prosecutor even considered making that deal with her.
Yeah. Entirely. Entirely.
And we watched Dateline, that interview Dateline did with her in law class in high school. And just watching it, like, because this was I think they did the interview from prison or whatever with her, or it was either from prison or just after she was released.
Mm-hmm.
And she was so like nonchalant about describing everything. Like, she talked about how she did makeovers with Kristen French and Leslie Mahaffey when Paul Bernardo was gone to make them think that she was going to let them go.
Yeah.
And she knew she wasn't going to. And like, she was like, you could tell she was smiling while she was talking about it.
Oh yeah. If you were to watch the testimony comparison between him and her today, I would say that she's even worse from what I've learned
Yeah.
from psychology, human behavior, body mannerisms. Because yeah, like you said, when it first came out, I was about 14 or 15. Didn't really know much. I just knew that this sounded wrong on its front. When she recently got released, I did more investigation into stuff, and again, more recently, like 2 years ago, I revisited the case and went, okay, maybe I should refamiliarize myself with some of the footage and stuff. And I'm looking at her and I'm going, she is a complete psycho.
Oh
If
yeah.
anything, she was the ringleader here. They're both evil, deplorable, disgusting human beings who should have their lives taken away from them. But
You've
she
got to
was worse
you've
in
got to be a
presenting.
special type of evil and know what your boyfriend is capable of and still go, "Do you want my sister?"
Yeah.
Like,
And to egg him on to do it.
I've got a perfect Christmas present for you, honey. We'll do my sister together and we'll kill it. Like, what the fuck?
Ugh. Ugh.
Like, what kind of evil bit? Like, but no, it's only men. It's only men.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, what is this nonsense?
So this is more proof that intersectionality is cancer. So here we go.
I think all identitarianism is cancer, but yeah.
So this article says intertwined disability and queerness intersect to form community. Because
No.
we all just can't be people. We have to box ourselves in. And yeah. Disability is a reality for many Canadians, yet people with disabilities often struggle to access businesses, nightclubs, and other places. This is true in the 2SI LGBTQ community as well. Because being gay and being disabled are completely the same thing, apparently.
Only as far as to say they are abnormal. And
Yeah.
abnormal is not a bad word.
Yeah.
That's as far as I'll go in saying that there's similarity there. Sorry.
No, it's so this says here we go here. Being both disabled and queer means being at an intersection of two communities, two groups that share a lot of the same history, but don't always agree on everything. Oh my god, it's almost like human beings have separate thoughts.
Disabled and queer, isn't that kind of an oxymoron? Redundant? Redundant? Sorry.
Members of both communities have similar things to say about the other. Disabled communities have often said queer spaces are often inaccessible and ableist. Uh-huh. While disability spaces and services are often not queer or trans friendly, in some cases, they can be homophobic.
Okay, as two disabled people, let's set the record straight. The world does not have to bend over backwards to fucking accommodate us.
No.
End of story. Now, if businesses, and so, I mean, obviously there are some things that should be as accessible as possible, like government buildings and facilities, but private businesses and the like, and people's homes and whatever, if they choose to not want my business or your business or anybody else because of accessibility issues, oh well, I'm going to the next guy who does.
There's other places that will take my business. If I go on my own and have a seizure, my fault. Yep.
Yeah, like my gaming group at this one store, it's in the basement. It's underneath the store. So I have to take a very narrow, precarious staircase to go down because of my mobility issues. I take that risk. I don't put any liability on them. I'm like, you know what? Like this is my choice to do that. Now, if I was wheelchair bound, I'd be like, you know what? Sucks, but I'm not going to make a stink out of it that they have to put in a fucking elevator so I can go play Warhamster on the weekends. Like, just piss off.
Like, am I suing every arcade in town because they don't have talking consoles for me to go and play? No.
Or movie screens.
I have my own console. Yeah. Am I not, like, when I go to the theater, am I yelling at Cineplex because they don't necessarily have an audio described movie playing?
Yeah.
No.
Would it be nice to have Jordy's visor or robotic legs?
Yeah.
Sure, but I'm not going to demand that that you do dump like $6 trillion into developing them.
Your body, your choice has been called? Oh,
hell yeah.
Let's see. So this says, where are we here?
Oh my god, queer crip?
Yes. Queer crip combined specifically to me, queer crip means this political embodiment of both disability and sexuality and gender. It's this space of owning and recognizing class politics, racial politics, disability justice politics. All of these things are contained in that identity space.
Oh my god, identitarianism is such a cancer.
Disability justice coordinator, access consultant, and artist living in Chilliwack, BC. Oh, you're from BC.
Oh, that that explains everything.
Nobody cares about what you have to say.
Identity politics is identitarianism is such a cancer. Such a cancer.
I'll be right.
You know, sure. These labels were never meant to be, this is what I am, and it is strictly defined. No, it's meant to give the person you're speaking to a colloquial idea of what you kind of stand for. And this is why I have such a problem with Americans' use of the word liberal. Because I'm a liberal. I'm a very influenced person by the teachings of the writings of John Locke. You know, the classical liberal. But to put me in a box and say, oh, well, he's a liberal. That's like, yeah, but you know what? I also don't believe that Roe v. Wade was good case law. I do believe that gun rights are and self-defense rights are essential to a peaceful society and a prosperous society. I do believe in these so-called right-wing ideals and ideas. And hell, again, libertarian liberal. When I say that, it's meant to give you a an idea of where I would lean on certain things. Not to say, oh, I fit into this. I'm a square peg, so I'm fitting into this square hole. That's not what these labels are meant to do in the English language.
I hate identity politics. Every time I see this shit, I think of. Do you remember the Movementarian episode?
Yeah.
The Simpsons.
Yeah.
That's what I think of.
Yeah.
It's literally just, we love the leader.
No, leader.
Yeah.
No, leader. Batman. I mean, leader.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's so great. I was just kind of ranting a little bit on how these labels, like when I call myself a libertarian liberal, it's not meant to give you a concrete definition of what I believe. It's meant to give you, in the colloquial sense, because that's what English does, give you a general sense of what I kind of would lean on things, but it could be completely different than the next liberal libertarian. So that's why these labels that these people, these identitarians, are hard fixed into, are doing damage. They're misusing the English language, again, because they're not intelligent enough to use the language as it's designed. Yeah. They're like infants.
They are. Here's our last story. Because disabled people have to jump on the abortion shit too. So this person is, yeah, it can kill us. Protester on the dire cost of forced birth for people with disabilities.
Even if we go by the proposals, just the proposals, because not everybody had trigger laws in place or whatever, even the states with the strictest of abortion laws, proposed or otherwise, would still allow for this level, this exception to the rule.
Yeah.
Again, going back to the whole labels thing, I'm not pro-life, but I agree with 99% of what the pro-lifers have to say. I'm technically pro-abortion because I believe that there are times and places where, yeah, it is kind of warranted or allowed or should be allowed. But even in places where they're like, nope, no abortions, unless, it's rape, incest, or it's going to kill the mother. And even then, this is a very, very, very hyper-specialized case, in which case, yeah, you already have a special needs because your spine probably has spina bifida or something like that, where if she, or so there, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, where if she became pregnant, yeah, it could do some serious damage. But it's at the point where you're pregnant at 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, before the brain patterns, before it's even recognizable as a human being. Sure, again, most places in the United States, even with the most strictest of abortion laws, would still allow you to get it. You dumb shit.
And also, here's a magical thought. There are lots of birth control methods you can use before you scrape your uterus out.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are plenty of there's estrogen based birth control, there's progesterone based birth
even
control.
Plan B, I think it's up to 6 weeks you can take it. It just detaches the lining from the uterine wall. Very, very uninvasive. You basically just pass it, and it's like a forced miscarriage. But it's only recommended to be used up to like a certain, because the attachment isn't as concrete yet. So it's, but again, even then, as somebody who's pro-abortion, who says safe, legal, and rare, I'm like, yeah, between 6 and 8 weeks you should damn well know if it's going to be a problem, and that you could take a medicinal alternative rather than having a vacuum up your cooch.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to wait until you're 7 months pregnant before having this abortion.
Exactly.
Dumb.
So this says, armed with a sign and tons of water, Renee Smith stood in front of the Supreme Court this weekend to protest the repeal of Roe v. Wade. Even though an extremely hot day wouldn't keep her from expressing her anger over the court precedent setting the repeal of
I hate when they say that, because no, precedent has been set for the Supreme Court to strike down unconstitutional laws all the time.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, not unconstitutional, but constitutionally irrelevant laws all the time. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
I hate how they manipulate and misuse language. Ugh.
Abortion is essential health care, especially for people with disabilities, the 22-year-old from Arlington, Virginia told HuffPost.
Yeah, your mother should have aborted you.
Hmm?
Nothing. I was making a poor joke.
So wait, so you know what this argument could be made like? The way that these people are arguing that, abortion is essential for people with disabilities. You know what that can be made to sound like?
Mm-hmm.
Disabled people can't be parents, therefore they need to have abortion.
Eugenics, yeah.
Wow. That's what this sounds like. This sounds like a disabled woman who her case is possibly life-threatening.
Yeah.
But the way that she is acting is disabled women can't have kids because they're disabled. So
yeah, right.
We're allowed to kill the kids that we fucking accidentally created because we couldn't be asked to make sure we had our own birth control or that our partners had a condom on.
It's weird because
what is that?
Because in philosophy, I'm kind of pro eugenics, pro Darwinism, in a sense. In practice, no, and not forced. But if somebody does become pregnant and does get to, let's say, 3 months in the first trimester, and the doctors tell you your son is going to be severely disabled, I would be pro, again, philosophically,
Mhm.
I would be pro being allowed to abort that child.
Yeah. Because that's the choice.
That's the my body, my choice element of that. I agree. Now, if again, it's very dependent on the timing of things, because if you get to like 7 months, I'm like, no, you've already passed the statute of limitations on your decision.
Yeah.
If you didn't get to a doctor early enough, sorry, that's on you. Now you actually have to spend the rest of your life caring for this child, or being the piece of shit that you are, probably give it up for adoption.
No, but these people don't think these people think that it's an inconvenience to carry a child to term and give it up for adoption.
Oh yeah, even a quote unquote normal child.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So she carries on to say, quote, if you don't know what these are, don't legislate my health care, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, possibly orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, atlantal axial instability, craniocervical instability, Chiari malformation, type 1, her sign read.
Yeah, we get it. You're fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Don't have kids.
The laws are not in place for the outliers. They're in place for the general protection and well-being of the normal body of people. Yeah. There are almost always exceptions for people in situations like yours who are sub 1.0001% of the population who, there are certain reasons that certain laws and things might not apply. or restrictions might not apply because you're a special case. They conflate everything. It's so dumb.
It is.
So dumb.
Like, for example, Pinkalo and I, like, I would have really wanted a third kid. However, the way my back is and the way that, like, my postpartum depression gets really bad, really, really bad. And it would just be a setup for disaster with the two older boys and an infant and postpartum depression. Like, so what did we do? We talked about it, and Pinkala went and got snipped because it's less invasive.
Yeah,
it's
also reversible,
It's
unlike
reversible.
tubal ligation.
Yeah.
Tubal ligation, the female equivalent of getting snipped, is not reversible.
No.
Well, in 98.8888% of cases, it's not reversible.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does. Again, we're not talking about the outliers here.
No.
We're talking about the norm. And yeah, it just makes sense.
Yeah, because
and that's like, your choice.
Yeah,
because it basically lifts that responsibility off of your guys' shoulder.
Yeah,
you're already in a loving, long-term relationship. You've already intertwined with one another. There's no risk of, So yeah, take it one step further. Get snipped, and you don't have to worry about. Oh, did you forget to take your birth control?
Yeah.
Oh, are we out of condoms? Oh, this, oh, that, or whatever. It's just like, fun time.
Exactly.
It's like, shit, the kids are asleep. Vital fuckingly quick. I've got 2 minutes.
Exactly. Ugh. So yeah, this. There are a lot of women with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. When they give birth, it will dislocate their hips and other parts of their spine sometimes. For me, I would most likely dislocate my spine if I was forced to go through birth. Did you ever think that those women who chose to have kids with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome might possibly be scheduled for a fucking C-section?
Or like she says, planned down to a T. Yeah, those women who probably went through the pregnancy process probably met with experts and their own doctor and their own OBG and said, what are my chances? 5%? 10%? Okay, I can live with that.
Yeah.
For going through one of the most incredible experiences a human being can have in giving life.
Yeah.
Creating life. So yeah, that is a risk to them. Now, in your case, is it a 60-40 chance? Well then, yeah, bitch, that's on you to decide. It's not on everybody else to decide on creating a law for the land because of your fucking 0.0000001% of all cases.
Right. Like, I don't even in our charter, it's only, things like government documents that are required to be in an accessible format. Like, I'm not sitting here going, I expect every single piece of print literature in Canada to be provided in Braille. Like, why are we doing that? Like, I'm disabled and I can't have kids, therefore everybody should be able to have an abortion.
Yeah.
What?
What kind of fallacious reasoning is that? Again, in the most scientific terms possible, she is retarded. These people like her, are retarded. They don't have the mental maturity or acuity to be anywhere near even the layman.
Yeah.
Even the most, people who are admittedly, average intelligence or whatever, can understand why something like Roe v. Wade was bad case law.
Yeah, it was.
Whether or not they're pro or anti-abortion.
Yeah.
Like myself, like Tim Pool, like so many, traditionally on the left side of things or center side of things who would be pro-abortion, safe, legal, rare, blah, blah, blah. But realize, Roe v. Wade is stupid case law.
Yeah, well, and it was, what was the other one? Roe v. Wade, and then Oh, what was the other one
Like-
where she admitted that she lied about the rape and it still got into
Oh, is that Burgerfort or Casey?
Casey? That's it, Casey. Yeah, Casey. That wasn't even true. She
Yeah.
lied about rape.
I think any laws that are based on testimony of someone who is later found out to have lied about their testimony, the law should immediately that second become
repealed.
null and void.
Yep.
And then like people have been saying to the Dems, it's your fault. Maybe you could have made some strides to codify it in law the other half a dozen terms you had in office since then.
Yep.
But you didn't. So don't Democrats, don't blame Republicans or the former liberals and centrists that went over to the Republican Party that look at you and laugh and call you idiots.
Yeah.
Blame your own party, your own representatives, and yourself for not being on their ass to codify some kind of good case law on a federal level. But again, that's not how your country works. Things are done on a more statewide level. And the more local laws can get, the more just and fair they tend to be.
Yep.
Because a law for me here in Toronto could be wildly different than a law for you in Waterloo in a smaller town.
Like for example,
Makes sense.
Out in buttfuck nowhere in Canada, you are allowed, like if you're, if you have firearms or whatever and you have a large property and you've got deer coming and eating all your shit,
vermin, yeah,
you can shoot the deer. But if you're in the city and you have a pellet gun and squirrels are bothering you, you cannot shoot the squirrels.
Or pigeons.
Pigeons,
I can't shoot the pigeons.
You cannot.
And even then, Justine Trudeau wants to make sure that you are registered with those long guns in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, Alberta. Which, why? What does that have to do with anything?
But they need to know where the guns are.
Yeah.
They need to know where the guns are.
They know who would potentially be a threat, an insurgent to their eventual takeover by force.
Right.
Hence the 2A.
Oh my goodness. Well, that was a fun stream full of
You woke me up.
It
tends to do that to me.
It does, yes. So I will be back tomorrow night on Twitch because I'll have the boys during the day. So Beat the Blind Girl will be on the Thursday night. I will probably be doing Star Trek stream from my cell phone this Saturday because we'll be up at the cottage. For the rest of the summer, Wine Press will be returning because
wine tastings.
I'm trying to keep the boys off of screens as much as I can during the day, like trying to keep them like outside doing stuff and not letting their minds go to jelly in front of screens. So I'm gonna be trying to do coffee stream at night this summer, so Wine Press will be returning.
Wine as in I'm gonna whine about it, or wine as in hey, let's do some wine tasting.
Wine as in I'm gonna drink a lot of red wine while I'm doing this.
It's called a smorgasbord and it's elegant.
There you go. So tomorrow night I'll be on Twitch, and I might actually do a wine press from the cottage Friday night. We'll see. I don't know. Stay tuned. And Star Trek will be doing our what do we think of Strange New Worlds now that there are 9 episodes as of tomorrow. Yeah. So we'll have plenty to talk about then. Some of it pretty good. Some of it, oh my Jesus Christ, what the fuck is that? So there will be plenty to talk about.
Oh yeah.
So I will see you on Twitch tomorrow and possibly Friday on here, but definitely Saturday. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later.
Bye, you guys.